Hi, I'm Talbott with Limbrook TV, and today I'm going to make you a very special dish for you. It's Louisiana style shrimp and grits, and it's based on a recipe that I developed with the idea from Big Daddy's in Massapequa. If you've ever eaten there, that's a great restaurant. So they have this really wonderful dish with these nice wonderful grits on the bottom and then this nice tomatoey shrimp mixture on top. So I have a recipe for you that I think you're really going to like. So what we're going to do is we're going to make grits. Grits are they're made from corn. They can be made from other grains, but typically it's corn or hominy from corn. And they're treated with a lye. They're dried, ground, and then you always cook them. These are the grits right here. You can use two types of grits. There's the quick cooking, and then there's the old-fashioned grits. I'm using the old-fashioned grits today. The quick cooking just take a little less time to cook. Not that much difference as far as the time, so I like the old-fashioned ones today, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take the grits over here. We're going to take the grits. We're going to cook them with a combination of milk and chicken stock. You can also use water. You can use all stock, and you can use mostly more milk, I guess, if you'd like to. So we're going to bring that to a boil with some salt. And we're going to cook our grits there, so you have to stir those occasionally. And then while we're doing that, we're going to move over to the other pan, and we're going to cook some peppers. We're going to cut you a red pepper too. Peppers, we're going to have a serrano pepper for a little kick, and some scallions that I've sliced up for you. So we're going to cook those in some butter. Then we're going to deglaze the pan with some wine. I'm going to add some garlic to that. Have some wine and cook that together a little bit. Then we're going to add some of these tomatoes. There's a lot of ways you can make this spicier or not so spicy. So there's a couple of different ways to do that. These are our petite diced tomatoes, jalapenos, and habaneros in them. So that's going to be pretty spicy. I happen to like spicy. You can do them if you don't want a spicy version of this. You could just take that down a little bit and just use regular diced tomatoes. It's up to you. We're also going to put cheese in our grits once we're finished cooking them. And I actually chose it's a combination of Monterey Jack and cheddar. I actually chose the jalapeno Monterey Jack cheese. So you could try that too if you like. That's another way you can lower or raise the spiciness as well. So we're just going to butter this dish right here. I'm going to after the tomatoes are in, we'll be adding the shrimp, cook that down a little bit, and then we're going to have a layer of polenta and a layer of tomatoes. Okay, peppers, there's a couple of different ways to do everything, but the way I like to do a pepper, if you ever noticed, if you cut right down the middle, the seeds just go everywhere. It's like they get electric. So what you want to do is find, if your pepper isn't totally flat on the bottom, just give yourself a flat side and then put it up on its end. And then you're going to cut down, and you can cut all the way around the pepper like this. And then you see, that's it. Then all the seeds are in there. As long as you don't touch the seeds, they will stay where you want them, okay? And then you're going to put the pepper skin side down, and you're going to cut through some strips. This is a huge pepper. I don't even know if I'll use all of it. This calls for 1 green pepper and 1 red pepper. You can change it up. You need a green pepper though, because that's kind of the Louisiana style addition to it. They use a lot of green peppers. I'm not that crazy about green peppers, but when you cook them down a lot, they add a nice flavor. A lot of people say that, like raw green peppers are a little bit unpopular. Then we're going to take a serrano chili. Now these are very spicy. You can use a jalapeno, which would be a little less spicy if you can't find a serrano, or you could leave it out if you're concerned about it being too spicy. One little trick when you're working with hot peppers, you know, if you cut them and you have the oils from the pepper and you touch your face, your eyes, or even if you have a little tiny cut or anything like that, it's going to burn like crazy. So what you want to do is just take a little bit of oil and oil your fingers. And then once we're all finished, we'll be able to just wash our hands, and that spicy oil that's going to burn you goes right down the drain. I might use this knife here. Seems to be a lot of controversy about where the spiciness is in these peppers. Food scientist that I have a lot of respect for always says that the spiciness is between the skin and the inside membrane there. So what happens is if the tinier you slice these, the more spice you get. And it makes a lot of sense to me because it just makes them makes it stronger. It's the same with garlic. It's out of there. So these you can cut as small as you like. This is the shrimp, and I saved out a couple so I could show you what I did to it. Now I bought these frozen. You know, a little tip about shrimp. Shrimp is frozen on the shrimp boat. So all the shrimp, even when you get it up here, has been frozen. So if you buy frozen shrimp and just keep it in your freezer, it's a really quick meal because it thaws in no time. You just run it under cold running water for like 10 minutes and it's thawed. Or you can even cook it directly frozen, and it's great. So it's a great item to have in your freezer, and it'll be fresh. But if you buy it at the fish store and it's raw and it's thawed, you can bring it home and you can store it in it. Just put it in a dish to unwrap it. Don't keep it in the plastic because it can't breathe in the plastic. So you want to unwrap it and put it in a dish and just put a damp paper towel or a damp towel over it. And if you're not going to use it right away, if you're not going to use it right away, say you're not going to use it till the next day, that is the best way. It can breathe that way. And that was a little tip from Lee at Cross Island. She taught me that years ago. So all I do now, these are shelled and deveined, but they left the tails on. And I like to buy them that way because then if I want shrimp cocktail, you know, I've always got the tails on. But for this, we're going to take the tails off. And then we're going to take them, see if I can do it so you can see over there. I'm kind of doing this backwards, but I guess I can't do it backwards. I'm going to put my hand flat. Got a couple pepper seeds here. I'm going to keep my hand flat, and I'm going to go through like this. And then I'm going to take it, and I'm just going to cut each a piece like in half. I'm trying to go for similar sizes. And then do this one again. Now, when you're doing this, if your shrimp is not deveined, you're going to find a black vein right down here. You do need to remove that. But when you come inside and you see there's a vein down here, you don't have to remove that. That's the bloodline, so you don't need to remove that. This is the waistline, so you want to remove that. So that's our shrimp. And now we have everything ready. I'm going to wash my hands and we'll start cooking. So here we are. What I'm going to do, I have this combination of chicken stock and milk in here. I'm going to pour it in. And now that's going to have to come up to a boil. And then I'm going to stir in my grits. But I'm going to wait for that. I'm going to put the salt in now. It doesn't much matter when you do that. Okay, and then over here at the same time, I'm going to be making the shrimp mixture. I'm just going to turn this down pretty, kind of like a medium high. And I'm going to put the butter in. And this is where we're going to be cooking our peppers and our scallions and our garlic over here. You could use, if you don't have scallions or don't want to go buy scallions, you could use just an onion, chop it up. And you could use, like I said, you could use both green peppers. You could use both red peppers if you don't want the flavor of the green pepper. The green pepper is a little classic though. And obviously garlic is up to you. This is 2 cloves of garlic, so you can, if you like garlic, put a little more garlic in. Especially if you're going to leave out the hot, spicy stuff, put some more garlic in. This is a great dish to make. It's kind of an all-inclusive dish, and once it's all set, you can wait a bit before you actually put it in the oven. So it would be a great one to have for company. Leave that one back there. And then we're going to add our peppers. We just want to cook these. We're not going to really try to brown them. We just want to cook them till they're soft. And wait just a little bit. I like to wait to add the garlic until the onions and peppers have cooked a little bit. Garlic does have a tendency to burn sometimes, so you don't want to risk that. Okay, you can see by the color change of the peppers that this is starting to cook a little bit. I'm going to turn it down a little bit, and then we're going to add the garlic. Smells good in here. I wish you could smell this. I'm surprised that we don't all eat grits all the time. They're very much like polenta. It's the version of polenta. It's just treated a little bit differently. So it's kind of the same. Okay, so we're ready with this. As you can see, this is cooking away nicely. I'm just going to turn it down just a drop while I go back over here to the grits. Okay, so I have a boil coming up here. Can feel it not quite, just about starting. I go back and forth with whether I use the old-fashioned or the instant, and I think, you know, in my mind I would think the old-fashioned would be better. They look almost identical. And then it's only about 10 minutes different in the timing, so it's not really that different. I'm going to give that another minute, but I'm going to add the wine over here. You see the vegetables have kind of softened a little bit. I'm going to come over here because I do see a boil happening. We're going to add our grits. Whoa, I'm going to turn that down. Okay, you want to add it kind of gradually while you're stirring so it doesn't lump up. And now I have it on kind of, I'll try to show you the burner, just a little bit lower. We want some activity. I see some bubbles happening. We want activity, but you don't want to boil over. So this we just have to stir occasionally. So we're going to let that simmer. And now we're going to deglaze over here. So you got like 2 things going, but they kind of work together. And I like to add wine to a lot of things. It gives such a great dimension to the flavor of whatever sauce you're using. So I usually add a little wine to almost everything I'm making. Turn that back up a little bit. We're just going to kind of loosen everything up. And we're going to let it cook just a couple of minutes to kind of cook the alcohol taste out. And now see we've got a nice boil over here. So we're just going to give this a stir every now and then. We're going to add the tomatoes and the pepper. And then we're just going to simmer this. We're actually just going to simmer this until we're ready, because the only other thing we have to add here is the shrimp. So we're going to kind of cook a little bit of the liquid out. And then the shrimp only takes about 3 minutes, so we'll add that right towards the end. I do have my oven on 350 because everything's going to go in the oven just for a little bit to melt the cheese at the end. I'm using this dish. This is like a 13 by 9. I have used this, which is oval. It's not quite 13 by 9. I kind of run over a little bit on this dish. So I'm going to put it in this dish today so it doesn't spill. Now, if you want to make this for company and you want to make the stages ahead, you could definitely make your sauce ahead. Just don't put the shrimp in till you're closer to ready. And then you can make this totally and put it in the bottom of your dish and have it standing by. Then at that point, when you're putting, if you let it chill, you have to always remember, if you let it chill, it's going to take more than a few minutes to heat it up. So you have to remember that when you're doing your final heating it up. When we're doing it today, it'll only take a few minutes because we just want cheese to melt on the top. So it won't take much time in the oven. So if you want, you could make this without the spicy part to it. The cheese, you'd use the plain cheese, and you would use the plain tomatoes and skip the serrano. It would still be delicious. Maybe you could put a little crushed red pepper flakes on your own when you're all finished, but it would still be delicious. So we're going to add, next thing we'll be adding is the cheese. We're going to save out some of the cheddar. We're going to add all the Monterey Jack, and we'll save out some of the cheddar for the top. And over here, I'm going to stir in the shrimp. This is a pound of shrimp. I think maybe it's a little bit more because I think I put a couple extra in. This I'm thinking serves like 6 people at least. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to put all but a little bit of this cheese. All of this cheese. You can see little peppers in there, so that's spicy cheese. Turn this up and just get these shrimp cooked. These pans are very, very heavy, but they're great for cooking something like this. They're nice and thick. Okay, so that's that layer. That's all ready. I'm going to bring this over here, blast this back up a little bit. I'll finish off the shrimp. They've cooked out a lot of the liquid. You want it too runny, but you do want it a little saucy, so. We're just going to wait till the shrimp turns white and pink, and then we're going to put it on the top. you do that, turn your flame off first. Okay, we're gonna just put this on the top. Just kind of move it around a little bit. Now, if you wanted to do less grits, this looks like a lot of grits. If you love grits, this will be great. If you want to put less grits, you could do take it down to 1 cup of grits and 4 cups of liquid, so you could easily do that. And then we're going to take the rest of this cheese and kind of just sprinkle it on the top. And this is when you call everybody for dinner, because we're just going to pop it in the oven just for a minute, a couple of minutes to melt the cheese. That's a 350 oven. So you're not going to get any browning from 350, you're just going to get the cheese to be melted just a little bit. Okay, we're going to open our oven now and see what's going on. Looks perfect, it's all melted. And there you have it. We've got our Louisiana style shrimp and grits. Bon appetit.